Welcome to Full Court Sundays. Very happy to be back. I was missing for a couple weeks. Yeah, today is a special day. I have my oldest nephew here in town from California. Came back to visit us for part of the summer. Give it up for Ezekiel, Dr. Jobert III.
All right, Zeke.
Yeah, and I got Big Zeke here. Daddy Zeke.
How y'all doing today?
Jobert II. And we got baby Jano Jobert here. Give it up for Goldie. Yeah, so we here today. Shani, you grew up in Sumter Township and you graduated from Ypsi Lincoln, and you played. Tell us about your career in multiple sports you played. You played football and baseball and wrestled, and tell us about your high school career.
Yeah, I just want to start. Maybe I should even start even a little bit younger than that. Thanks for having me on. I get to watch from California, but I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Appreciate you coming, man.
So, back when you were at Michigan, I had the Air Force Ones and the Ducks and all the things, and I always wanted to play sports and follow my dad too, and he was playing baseball.
Right.
I knew I had to play some type of sport, so I was in karate, baseball.
You did
everything as a little kid. But then, I got to high school. I had quit baseball.
Right.
So I was running track and then playing football. And the football coach recruited me to do wrestling.
All right.
Which I had started as a young person, maybe about 7 or 8, but didn't really get into it, mostly wrestling. My dad's friends, and he had daughters. And I wasn't really into wrestling. Then in that time period, but in high school, I was able to join the wrestling team, became the captain of the wrestling team, and also the track team. Played 4 years of football, so tried to just stay busy with sports and also leadership. So I was the president of student council, was on the student council board all 4 years of high school.
Right.
But just try to be well-rounded. My goal was to play sports in college, and that didn't always happen for me. You know what I mean? Maybe Division III or even maybe JUCO, but I decided to choose academics.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Follow the Jobert tradition of going to University of Michigan.
Yeah, you graduate. Give it up for Go Blue. You a
Go Blue. Go Blue.
That's right. Yeah, you did a fantastic job. You were great in wrestling, man, and you went up to U of M, wrestled a couple years, then you changed over to the cheerleading, and was great leadership, AKA everything up there at Michigan, man. I came up there, had a great time with you when I would come home, man. I was so proud of you, man. And after that, you graduated. What you graduated in Michigan in?
So, yeah, I went in initially as a pre-med major.
Right.
My dad had a close friend, and so I worked in genetics, and I was doing testing RNA and DNA, and I really liked it. But my dream as a child was always to write stories, tell stories, write poetry.
Right.
And so I followed that in college, knowing that I could also do pre-med, so I majored in English.
Oh, nice.
And so I wanted to do creative writing, but also do pre-med. I decided to focus on English and creative writing more than I did the pre-med stuff, so I pretty much changed over completely. As you said before, I joined Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I got to be a cheerleader, which was, some people recruited me because of my wrestling background, that they knew that I could, lift and also
and your gymnastics
and do gymnastics and stuff like that too.
Flips and strong, man.
Yeah, so that happened there, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, which is most college students go out, leave college, right? Puzzled a little bit, like, what do I do?
Exactly.
And especially with an English degree, they say, well, you know, there's nothing for you really but to teach.
Right.
And I didn't want that initially, but I ended up in Philadelphia right after college as a volunteer. I made $142 a week. I had my EBT card. I had a dog that my parents had bought for me, living far away from home for the first time. But I was working at Albany High School in Philadelphia. Bars on the doors, police officers in the hallway, security guards, seeing my students get thrown into the walls. It was a really intense place. I had never seen that before, coming from Ypsilanti, Lincoln, which was more of a country town school.
That's South Philly, right?
It's in North Philly.
North Philly.
North Philly.
North Philly.
Because I'm my family from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you know,
It was an interesting space. You know, like, you know, it wasn't it wasn't just the kids with the tractors and things like that back home, but these were like kids from all over. They had the school separated into two schools.
Wow.
And I saw some of those injustices, and some of the teachers there said, you know how to write curriculum, which I had learned at Michigan through an intergroup relations program. And they said, will you teach my class, ESL? Wow. And I did. So I taught ESL economics as a volunteer. And it was from that point on, someone said, this is how you become a teacher. And so I followed that path to get my teaching certification. But first I had to work as a teaching assistant for a couple years, but I did that in Philly.
You paid your dues, and plus learning and being in Philly by yourself, new atmosphere, and the street life. You live downtown by yourself. I know that was challenging. Catching the bus and all that stuff. Tell us about that. I know you got a lot.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories. You know, the urban life was much different than the country life. But I was somewhat familiar, you know, spending my summers in Detroit.
Right.
Playing at the same baseball fields y'all did at Kennedy Center, right? I had a little bit of familiarity to being in the city and navigating those spaces. But I was committed really to just being with folks and being in relationship with people, knowing my neighbors, you know, sitting out and talking with them about the community. And I think that really helped me build those relationships. And, you know, the elders in the community and my next door neighbors, they would say, you know, you didn't come home last night. Where were you? You know, like those things, right? Like people take care of you if you build relationships with them. And
they do. And everybody got a story if you'll sit and spend some time with them and talk.
Yep.
You know, everybody got a story. Whether, you know, what happened, good or bad, everybody has a story. And you also taught special education. Let's talk about that. And I think that is awesome because I know that is a challenging thing to do to help those type mentally challenged guys and girls, and you did a great job with that.
Yeah, I first started in a middle school setting, working with students with disabilities. And most of my students, I worked at a K-8 charter school in Chinatown.
Which was
in Chinatown, Philadelphia, where you know they used the history of teacher versus Mr. and Miss. They honor people, even elders. Like if you came to the school, they would call you a teacher, you know, versus Mr. or Miss. But it was in that school space. Had a couple of mentors who said, you know, these students really look up to you, you know, and instead of becoming an English teacher, you should try being a special ed teacher and working with these students. And so I took the test, started working with them. I had all these relationships with them because I was their teaching assistant, you know, helping them walk through the hallways, talking through them about their communities, talking about their issues with their teachers. And also talking about giving them a little bit motivation. You know, so if you think about the sports background, and coaching. My dad was my coach as a kid. You know, everybody, you know, those things. It was all about motivation. And so that's what I was trying to do with these students, is just really motivate them. They had learning disabilities, most of them, not intellectual disabilities. Some of them did. But most of them could have successful, independent lives. And that was really what I saw in them. And so I built relationships with their parents. I convinced the other teachers to integrate them into the classroom spaces so that they wouldn't be alienated or isolated. by their peers.
Right.
And we work collaboratively to make a difference in their lives. And most of my students I have connections with.
Right.
They still call me and text me on Facebook and tell me that they're
Don't that make you feel so good?
It's awesome, man. Awesome. I got to spend, right before I came back home, I was in Philly, and got to spend some time with some students who are now graduating from college. It makes me feel kind of old. Time flies.
Job, Zeke.
So proud of
it. Oh yeah, man. That's the blessing, and that make you feel so good. I remember I was a substitute teacher over at Chandler Park, and I taught special ed for a while. And man, it makes you, their kids love you, man. Mm-hmm. I just had such a great time, man, and the feeling that you get in your heart, I mean, it's just unbelievable, you know?
Right.
Unbelievable, man. So after Philly, you went to Minnesota. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a tundra. I call it the tundra in Minnesota. And we all know after what happened last year, what some of the other politics of Minnesota.
Yeah, tell us about Minnesota. But, it's a lot of things happened in the last 5-6 years of Minnesota.
It's a cold place, but no. Overall, I had a really great time in Minnesota. But how did I get there? Right, is I think a really important question and something to think about.
Right.
I was teaching, and I had a professor who said, "You could do what I'm doing. You could teach teachers. You can teach them how to care about communities, to think deeply about racism in schools, right, or to think about culture in schools."
Right.
And he encouraged me to apply to a PhD program, and I was like, I didn't know anyone with a PhD.
Right.
You know,
right.
I knew one cousin or something like that, maybe that was a doctor.
Right.
But I was encouraged to do it. I applied to 6 schools and didn't get accepted to one school. So I reflected, spent another year, did it again. And I met a wonderful professor who studies rural education, so he understood where I came from.
Right.
And also understood what I was trying to do with my students,
nice.
Which was to make them feel liberated, empowered, and motivated in classroom spaces.
Nice.
And he respected that I was curious about those things and how we can do it as with teachers, right? And so I ended up in Minnesota, full ride, with a minority scholarship fellowship there. For a PhD program. I lived there for 5 years. It was a blessed experience. I had so many great mentors in African American studies and in education who also cared about sports.
Right.
You know, like, always go back to that, you know, like,
hey, in our culture, we love sports. Give it up in our culture.
It's one of those things. It really does bring people together.
It does.
And
yes, it does.
We came together around lots of things of thinking about, like, you know, how can we make a difference in the lives of student athletes, even, you know.
Yeah.
And I really do, you know, been committed, talk really a lot of conversations with about the different expectations and pressures, and how do you stay motivated as a student athlete, because I think those same strategies can be used for young people.
Right.
The best teachers have been coaches, right?
That's right.
And so I always hold that deep to my heart. And when I'm talking with teachers, you know, I tell them, you know, like, be a coach.
Right.
Think like about that coach. Think about that mentor who you work with out in the after-school program, who inspired you to do good work.
That's right.
And so, yeah, Minnesota was a 5-year experience of hard work, lots of writing, lots of reading. But I learned so much about myself and what I was capable of.
Yes.
It really does push you when you spend all day, you know, finishing books and trying to write papers and all those things. But the other thing I was committed to, and I want to make the connection here, is coming back home.
Right.
A part of my motivation to get a doctorate degree was that I could spend, you know, 4 months out of the year with time to come home.
Yeah.
I get to come home every summer, spend a month with everybody. Home is important.
Yeah, because you got to do the Easy J Ranch, baby. We need you.
That's right. Yeah. So, you know, so that's what's super important about that experience, is that I want to be able to come home. I get to learn about the elders. We just met with an elder this morning who's teaching us about the community and what we can do to make changes in our community and our lives. And so,
and that's great,
you know,
man.
this is what it's all about.
This is about helping your community, man, and our youth is our future. Give it up. Oh yeah. Now you teach at the University of California and stuff. Tell us everything you do down there and how did you like it down there?
I mean, I'm really enjoying the weather in LA. But no, overall, it's been a really good experience. I have a really supportive program. I'm in educational foundations. So we do two things. We teach teachers educational psychology and education history. We also do teach emerging teacher researchers, folks who are interested in learning about schools.
Okay.
And so we have a master's program where I get to mentor young people who want to study schools, right? They want to study either teaching, curriculum, policy. Some of them want to study elementary ages. Some of them want to study at the college level.
Right.
And I mentor them in that practice. But then I also get to work, which is really what I'm committed to and passionate about, is working with teachers, young people who want to become classroom educators, special educators especially. And so I teach the educational psychology courses where we talk about motivation, where we talk about testing, right, the inequalities in testing. And so I teach 2 to 3 courses a semester on educational psychology and how we can actually engage when students resist in classroom spaces. Because we all know that student. We probably were those students who said, why do I have to do this, right? Why do I have to learn this? Why is this important? So my job is to tell teachers, we have to say, yes, that's a great question. Let's talk about why we have to do this, right?
That's nice.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
Dr. Joe Bear. Yeah. Well, I'm going to move. Let's get to your dad, man. Big Zeke. How do you feel, man? You got 3 great sons. Baptiste isn't here. He couldn't be here today. He's working at home. But how do you feel, man? What a great son, man. And a leader. And Zeke Jr., the third you have here. Tell me about that.
Arlene and I are totally blessed. We couldn't, for 3 sons, we couldn't ask for a better situation. Don't get me wrong, they boys.
Right. Oh yeah, nah, they got some things we ain't talking
they really, whatever they're into. It could be either sports, their jobs. We always taught them to respect what you're doing and just really strive hard for it. And when Zeke was just saying that he went into Michigan as pre-med, medical doctor's school, but I thought we had him all set up. When he told me he didn't want to go to medical school no more, I was like, what?
Yeah, you could
You know what I
believe.
mean? Oh, you going to medical school?
Right.
But it didn't work out like that, and you gotta respect God
Absolutely.
first.
Give it up for God every day, all day, 24 hours.
Because just telling you,
That's right. That's right.
he told me that he was going to be a doctor. He said, I'm
That's right.
still going to be a doctor, Dad. And I said, yeah, right. But now he's a doctor of education.
Absolutely.
Arlene and I, we
So
laugh
proud
about that
of
a
him,
lot
man.
of times.
So proud of him, man.
Yeah, and Baptiste is a hard-working family man, take care of his business. He's
Absolutely.
a great horse trainer.
Yeah.
I got a little beautiful granddaughter, Zuri Rain.
Yeah.
Can't wait till she start riding and seeing what she's doing.
Zuri Rain.
Yeah. And then my baby boy here, we call him New at home. That's his nickname. Everybody knew. But Jano's graduated from college, and he's at home working with the horses, rehabbing his knee. He's gonna get a shot to go overseas in the fall, and we just praying and thanking God every day, man. That's it, Judge.
Amen. Give it up. Give it up, baby. Janelle, Is that me?
No, it's not.
I'm about to say,
okay.
pistol was that?
Man, I had none in here. I know you the youngest and stuff, and how do you feel having a big brother and stuff setting such a great example for you? I know I had a big brother setting them for me and helping me, and now you come along and you got one here setting it for you, buddy.
I mean, I got two setting them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, we already know we haven't got into that yet. But go ahead.
But yeah, I'm a basic. But I'm the youngest, so between me and Teese is 5 years, and between me and Shani is 12 years. So
All right.
growing up, by the time I got to know myself, Shani was like pretty much like a dad to me.
All right.
You know, in a few ways, especially in college. You know.
Give it up.
He helped me. You know, me and my brothers, we all got different relationships with each other. But like I said, Shani is the type of brother I could call both of my brothers, but I call Shani when I'm down. You know, I call Teese when I'm down too, but I especially call Shani when I'm down because we both Tauruses, so he know my emotions and how I feel. You know, so.
Yeah.
But it's a great example. I'm like my dad said, I'm truly blessed to have great parents, my mom and dad, who push us in everything we do, and always supportive of our dreams, even though sometimes they believe in your dream more than you do, you know. And that's always great to have, and great uncles like you who also pushes us and gives us knowledge, you know.
Yeah.
Yep, and our ancestors too, you feel me? But I'm just truly blessed to have all our family together.
All right. I am too. And I thank God.
Amen on that one.
Yeah, amen.
I thank God every day, man. I am so proud of you guys, man. I mean, you know, when you guys, I look around as people ask and talk to family and stuff, I'm so proud of you. Seeing you guys grow up and do so well, you know. You playing ball in college, Baptiste playing ball in college, you know, basketball. Shani going to college and doing all the things, man. It's just truly a blessing, man, you know, to see you guys and now seeing you guys come out and helping other kids and trying to push them to be successful and do things, man. It's truly a blessing, and that's what it's all about. Helping others, helping the community, building a stronger community, and educating our kids, man. Let's talk about, let's go into Zeke about the Easy J Ranch, okay? Let's give it up to our horse, Payday. Payday, okay? Let's talk about that, Z. Let's talk about the Easy J Ranch. How did the Easy J Ranch start? And
Wow, Judge. You know, I've been a cowboy ever since I knew who I was, man. I grew up in Southwest Detroit, but I never really wanted to live in the city. I always wanted my own ranch. And my sons, we've been owning horses for about 25 years now.
right?
And we had them as pets. And, Baptiste competed in high school, and we have some friends that ride. They train race horses and things like that. And
Right.
roping horses, cowboy bulls.
Give it up for Baptiste Jobert, Antoine, Ipsy Lincoln Ryder.
You know. Well, but and we always, you know, all three of my sons, my wife and I, we love dogs as well.
Yes.
We really got into the working line German Shepherd. That was more our family type dog. You know, and so
And you got very nice shepherds.
Thank you.
Very nice, beautiful.
Yeah. So what the Easy J is really about, we help kids. Baptiste, we call him the head trainer. Jano is the all-round guy. He does all the financing. He keeps up with the food, how much we paying the hay. And Lil Zeke, if we got questions about the the business aspect of it or information, we talk to him. So actually the Easy J is just a family operation. We have fun with it. It's not about how much money we're making. It's just letting people know about working line, German Shepherd, and quarter horses. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. We do birthday parties for little kids and adults. Mm-hmm. We give lessons. Next year, if God's will, we'll have our ranch situated where we can start our own therapy lessons for kids with disabilities and adults as well with disabilities.
Oh, that'd be great. What a blessing. What a blessing.
Yeah.
And you guys also do church functions, birthday parties in the cities, all type of different functions. What number can people reach you at for the Easy J Ranch or your card?
You can reach my number at 734-548-0294.
Say it again.
734-548-0294. I don't know Batista's number by heart, but it's on the card I gave you, Mark.
Miles. It's on that card right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Read that Tc's number.
All right. And Batista's number is 734-604-3689.
All right. Yeah, so if anybody have any birthday parties you want to call and set up for your kids or grandkids or for some old folks, give us a call. We'll be there.
Right.
Easy J Ranch.
And leave a message.
Yes, leave a message if you...
Yeah, what's the deal with people not leaving messages? Why they just hang up the phone?
Right.
People don't leave a message no more.
Nah, they text.
Yeah, they text and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and like Janelle, you are nutritionist and are everything. Tell us how you got into horses so deep.
Like my dad said, since I knew myself, I had horses. But it was, as far as the education of horses, it's been there since day one. We had a guy named Daryl Phillips, a.k.a. Horseman, and he taught us everything about grooming a horse and that type of stuff and feeding them and training them. And then once I got, Batiste graduated high school and I was going into high school, we met a guy named Evaristo. And he's a Mexican guy, and he taught us about the racehorse business. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he taught us about the racehorse business, Tease fell in love with the racehorse business. So once he fell in love with the racehorse business, he was like, man, we could do it, man. It's not hard, it's a lot of work, but that's how we got into that. And then from that point on, we just been studying it and trying to get better each and every year.
And you have. Give it up. That's great because you've been doing it in college.
Trying my best.
Playing basketball. And Shanny, you on the business end of it. I mean, websites and stuff, you handle all that business-wise. How do you feel?
Yeah, so, most of my role is somewhat an advisor. Like they call me whenever they have a question just to kind of brainstorm, like, this is a possibility for the business. Right. I always tell them, do what's in your heart. You got to test things out, just like I went to Philly. Part of it is just trying things out to see how things are, seeing how they feel, and if it's worth it. But mostly, I really look up to what they do with the horses. Like my dad said, when we moved to Sumter and Gerald Phillips was teaching us how to ride, I just liked them as pets, and I had dogs growing up mostly before we moved to Sumter. But Daryl Phillips, I also want to just throw out, he's an ancestor now, but he also was the person who was giving me books, black books. He had us on the horses, but he had me like reading literature that prepared me to go to Michigan. I just wanted to like add that in a little bit just to kind of like honor his legacy.
Give it up for Horseman, my buddy.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Daryl Phillips from Southwest Detroit.
Right. But I look up to these, both my brothers and what they do, and really honor their work with the horses, and I'm learning so much from them about horse training and grooming. They have me on the grooming end when I'm in town, and just picking up some of the slack and doing some of the extra work. But it's a lot. It's a lot of details. It's a detail. A lot of people think that the horse is just an athlete that just can go out there and do things, but it's detailed work. It's like writing a lesson plan. Like when we look at schedules, when we look at meals, it's similar to writing a curriculum for that particular horse. Just like you would do an individualized lesson plan for a special ed student, for example. They do the same type of work looking at each
fundamentals.
horse. It's totally fundamentals and details, and it's amazing.
Very detailed, very fundamental.
And educational. I mean, they have to teach this horse, right, how to run. And so I think that's one of the commonalities that we come together around is pedagogy, teaching. Teaching and learning. How can this be a learning process? That's what we've always been talking about.
Every day is a learning process.
And
for hours.
tell us, you guys, you had Kiki, and Kiki is how old now?
She just turned 12.
Yeah, and she won a lot of money for you guys, but now she's older, and you guys just bought a new one, Payday, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about Payday. You like
Actually,
that name,
funny.
Bones?
It was just funny because, like Zeke said, he's like an advisor. So it was a crazy story. One day, me and my dad was upstairs fixing an outlet, and I was on my phone, and I was on Facebook, and I was looking. I got all these horse trainers and people who sell racing quarter horses on Facebook, and I came across Pay.
Right.
And Teese had just walked into the house, and I was like, man, look at this horse. Like, man, he's perfect.
Right.
Exactly what we looking for. Nice bloodline and everything. So after we finished that, my dad went to work. I went to work. Teese went to work. My dad called me about 8:30 in the morning. He was like, man, send me the number. And I want to, call him because this Pay was located in Shelbyville, Indiana. And so he called him. He talked to the lady. We went down there and seen him. We liked what we saw. And we purchased him the day after Christmas.
We sure did.
But
we
the
went
funny
down
story
there and
is,
got him.
before we purchased him, I had to talk to my advisor. And
They get the proof.
at first he was like, no, we shouldn't do it. And then I had to send him some numbers, and I said, I think we can, I think the ranch can afford it. And he said, all right, well, go ahead and do it. And we did it.
I got a question because I don't know nothing about a horse. I know my girl just called me a thoroughbred. Anyway, so
There you go.
Right.
So when purchasing a horse, you purchase them specifically for racing,
No,
for breeding.
it doesn't. I mean, as far as
depends.
It depends on what we want
the
the horse
breed of the
for.
horse, yeah, and what the horse is for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Well,
like,
a name like Payday, it just sound like it's payday. So when you purchase a horse, what's the average cost of purchasing a horse?
what type of horse? A racehorse?
Like a Payday.
It could cost you between $100,000 to
$10,000 up.
$1. I mean, a
I
horse.
wouldn't want no $1 horse. I'm not gonna lie.
Right, a horse is
Payday would definitely put the $1.
nah, but a quarter horse that ran at the track, he just sold at a sale in Oklahoma for $465,000. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So it
I'm
all
in the
depends
wrong
on the
field.
caliber.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just thinking like I'm in the wrong field.
No, yeah, and a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people, it's a different type of business, but a lot of people takes like he just mentioned. We have a mare named Kiki, and now that she's 13 years old, she's done racing, but her bloodline is top of the line. So what a lot of breeders do nowadays is they'll take that horse and they'll pay $1,000 to $5,000 and breed her to a top of the line stallion.
When you say breeder, you mean
Have a baby.
have sex?
Yep, have a baby,
Okay.
and then turn around.
Do they do it in
Yeah.
private?
No, they do it at a facility.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
So it'd be supervised.
Yeah, to make sure that the baby is actually, the embryo is actually growing, and the mare can actually have kids.
So it's a lot of stuff. A lot of people just don't know about.
Nah, you just can't just throw her out there and do
Listen,
it.
go ahead, get that.
I mean, if you paying
I can, but you wouldn't do it if you had a $5,000 horse.
if you paying $1,000 for the semen of the stud horse,
You gonna make sure it's
you gonna
done
make
right.
sure that it's done right and that the horse is gonna be pregnant. You know.
I know I'd be upset if I was a horse. Like, why are they looking at me? Like that?
Oh, they don't care.
They don't care.
No.
They don't care at all.
Okay.
And she gonna kick him in the face before he get business.
Really?
Sometimes they do, yeah.
That's great. And he still go at it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, give me a number.
That first time I saw it, me and my brother Zeke, I think I was about 14 or 15. We were in Louisiana and we went out. First we had killed a hog and everything. They was cooking, crackling. And then this guy brought his horse over to mate with my uncle horse and stuff. And he was like, yeah, he missed the horse. He got enough D to mess up Washington, D.C. You know, and he was like, get
This
up.
don't even sound right. You know what I mean?
Listen to it. He was walking his horse up like that, and he was like, yeah, this is Mr. Horace. That's the horse name. And
Horace.
He was like,
Mr. Horse.
yeah, he got enough D to mess up Washington D.C. So I'm young, I'm looking and stuff. So me and Zeke, my uncle horse, she kicked it like really hard. He shook that off and stuff. He went around her and stuff, and he was like, he get up there, Mr. Horse. So he got up there. They did it and stuff. All the stuff came out. He grabbed it in his hand, stuck his arm back up in there, and talking about, you gonna hold this in here? And me and my brother was like, oh my God.
That's gross as hell.
We from the city. I ain't never seen that. This was a heck of a experience day to see.
I'm gonna try that at home. Go ahead, no.
That was crazy, you know.
Yeah, it was.
And then a boy that was there that came with him, he had a rattlesnake bite in his leg about that big. So we looking at him like, he like, I'm all right. I'm like,
No, you ain't.
no, you ain't. We looking at him like, no, you ain't. So that's how it really started for me.
Wow.
Yeah, being down south every summer, going to see.
But the horse kicked the male in the face.
Oh, hard.
That happened
Did she,
often.
Zeke?
Y'all looking like it ain't like that happened.
I mean, if she not in heat, then most likely it's gonna be a fight.
Oh, she be tripping, huh?
Yeah,
Like she got a
not
headache.
no,
Not like-
she just not ovulating. She,
Okay.
Yeah, they don't. You know.
Okay. So they go by instinct only, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She will fight. You know, they don't play, and the male don't do anything. It's
And if
just
you in the
funny.
way, you might get kicked.
Yeah.
If you too close.
I done seen one. My mic is on. I done seen one. It was a Caucasian man. He said, "See this right here? This how my eye got out. My damn horse kicked me straight in my face." I was like, either half his bone was gone right here.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked his eye. He said, knocked it completely out.
Yeah.
I said, man, I can't do it. I can't deal with live animals a lot. I'm not good with live animals.
And give it up to the Belleville Rodeo last week.
Oh, yeah.
The Belleville Rodeo was great. It's the Black Belleville.
Midwest rodeo.
It's the Midwest rodeo.
Okay, that was
Like,
good.
They really had a
Midwest.
great turnout. It was a
Great turnout.
It was
Beautiful.
A great show.
Families.
Black cowboys from Oklahoma,
California.
California.
Did the Philadelphia
Texas.
Cowboys come through?
No, they didn't make it.
I'm
The
going down
brothers
there to
from
interview.
Chicago was there though. They won the
Chicago
relay.
too. Yeah.
There was some bad guys, boy. They could
was
ride.
right. Yeah.
In that relay, man, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But yeah, Sham, back to you, man. So, what's your plans? I know you're going back to school. When you leaving?
Yeah, so I'm leaving on the 6th to get back to
The
do some
6th
writing.
of-
6th of July.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm headed back to start completing some research projects that I'm doing.
Okay.
So,
Great.
Yeah, working on a book project about Sumter.
Okay.
I interviewed my brothers and a group of his friends and some elders in the community and some other folks about their educational experiences in the rural countryside of Metro Detroit.
Oh, wow.
That's
nice.
I'm hoping to get that published and get a book contract by the end of the summer, first of fall. And then
That'd be what, your second book, right?
yeah, that'd be my first single author book.
Book.
Yeah,
but you've been in others.
Yep, I've been in others, and I'll promote that book too. The Black Midwest Initiative has a book called Black in the Middle. I suggest you go get it. It's
nice.
about from Iowa to Chicago to small town Peoria. Like everywhere in the Midwest has a space and a time, and it's characterized in that book. Peoria, Illinois, places in Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. I mean, everywhere, right?
Nice.
Is in that book. Even in Pittsburgh, I think they got the Rust Belt. It's called Black in the Middle. It's called Black Anthology of the Midwest. So check it out. And I wrote about Sumter, of course, and about my brother writing and folks doing art, young people doing art. I really want to come back home next year to do some research with the community.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to get a fellowship to do that because I feel like it's really important to represent voices from small town communities, especially black voices from those communities.
Absolutely.
And to talk about their educational experiences and also the education that they develop in those spaces to sustain themselves, to keep themselves going, to keep themselves motivated.
Yes.
And for the next generation, like our niece Zuri, that this is really important to me. So that's part of my work, and I'm going to be working on that in the next month, and then hopefully see y'all in the fall.
Oh, man, that's unbelievable. Give it up for Zeke Dr. Joe Bath.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's such a privilege to have y'all on, man. I mean, this is fun for me, man, and I really enjoy it, and I thank y'all, man, for coming and sharing with me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, and talk about the Easy J Ranch. I mean, anybody that want to have a good party and fun for your kids or for yourself, give us a call.
Or just good horse experience.
Yep.
Yeah, and want to get some rides in, give us a call, please. And my phone number is 248-991-5145, and I'm the president. I don't do no riding, okay? But I'll set your appointment, okay? Yeah, my riding days is over, but please give us a call, and we'll see you next week on Full Court Sundays. Have a blessed day. Love you all.